at this John Deere QX14SB lawnmower that I've obtained. It doesn't run, and I mean, these things are pretty amazing. They have a great reputation. It's got a 5 horsepower Kawasaki engine on it that's renowned for its reliability. The thing weighs a ton. It's got a cast, I think it's aluminum deck here. It's silver in reference to John Deere's, they call it the Silver Jubilee. It was also available in John Deere green, but silver was kind of a special edition for these. And they were produced up until the 90s. I'm not sure exactly what year this one is. I haven't chased that down yet. It's got its fair share of issues, but if I can get it running, that would be a victory in itself. All right, just for illustrative purposes, I've got my spark tester here. I think I picked it up at Canadian Tire. It was pretty inexpensive, but it's a really handy little tool. I've already actually checked this, and so I know it has spark, but just to show what these things do, connect the one end onto your spark plug. A little tougher to do with one hand, but as you would expect, and on it goes. The other end, bear with me one moment here, some fine camera work. Just pops into there, just as if it were a spark plug. And now, I'm just going to set this here so you can see what happens. There. Hopefully this doesn't fall off. All right. And if you saw that orange flash, that means we have good spark. I've also done a compression test on this already, and it's showing 60 psi, which normally wouldn't be great. But these Kawasaki engines have a little decompression valve in them to make them easier to pull start. And I haven't really researched. I'm not sure how to defeat that. Kawasaki themselves say that if you get anything over 50 psi on your compression test, you're good to go. So I don't think that's really the issue. It's most likely with the fuel carburetor. It's always the carburetor. So I'm going to pull that off and have a look. All right, so this machine actually I got it from a good friend, and he mentioned that, you know, it had been running, and then last year when he went to use it the first time, it wouldn't run, and I think he said he took it somewhere and they told him it had low compression and wasn't worth fixing. So it's mine now, and you know, I don't know. I think it'll go. So as is almost always the case with things like this, first thing I like to do is pour a little gas down the carburetor and see if we get anything at all. So I've connected the spark plug back up, and got my trusty Dr. Pepper bottle here, and air filter's off, so we'll just, yeah, there we go. Dribble a little fuel into there and see if we get any fire at all. Well, if that isn't promising, I don't know what is. So now that we know that this will run, we have spark, seems to have enough compression to fire up. I like to start at the source. We know that we have a fuel issue, so this is a pretty fancy machine. Sorry, it's a mess in here. They've even put a sight gauge on the fuel tank. That's pretty awesome for a lawnmower. I've checked the oil. I haven't changed it, but it, you know, it looks clean. The level's good. So I'm going to open the shutoff valve here and see if we get fuel out of here. And if we do, that looks pretty promising. We definitely don't have a fuel supply issue there. So more than likely, our problem is in here. I am going to connect this line up and see if it'll run even. You never know. It might run just hooking it up. I'm going to try that. See if it'll go. sure why it's in drive, but I'm also really not too sure how to operate this machine. Sounds like it runs pretty nicely though. Well, that doesn't seem too bad. Okay, so now that it's running, I think I remember why it was retired. In fact, you can see the pall of smoke overhanging the very messy shop. I'm leaning towards some worn out rings. This thing shoots a great cloud of gray smoke on startup, and now I have to decide if it's really worth pursuing throwing rings on it. It's not a hard job, but if the cylinder head's worn, you know, is it worth the cost of parts and the time for me to pursue this when I've got so many other projects on the go? I might just put this up for sale and pass it on to somebody who loves working on lawnmowers. Well, good morning. Beautiful day here in Ardrossan, and I have found a front bumper off Mercury M100, a 64 that's being parted out. I'm gonna go pick it up. It's in about the same condition as the rest of the truck, so it'll look good. In the latest of a long line of bad decisions, I'm taking the Chevette. So it's about 71 kilometers each way. But you know, this little thing's actually, it's pretty reliable, so hopefully everything works out, and we'll see you there. Alright, so I have arrived at a really cool place. There's this poor Mercury. It's going to be pretty easy to get the bumper off now. Chevette didn't miss a beat. This is a 61 Mercury, sorry, 62. You can see the unibody there, how it's different from my truck, where the cab is integrated with the box. So that's pretty cool. And, you know, it's for sale. Alright, here we are. We'll take a look at this 64 Ford Beauty.
This thing's just too cool to ignore. 62 Corvair van, air-cooled, engines in the back. Check out the interior. All floral. That's just too cool. There's your proof that the engine's in the back. Awesome.